Hey everybody, this is Lorelia. Let me see where the camera is. Coming to you with a video today. If you see the title, How to Convert Credit Cards, Business Credit Cards to Cash, as well as personal credit cards. And, you know, um, I kind of really want to put a disclaimer out there. Reason why is because what I'm going to talk to you today is really for a particular audience. Currently, right now, in my market in New Jersey, hence real estate, there are deals, real estate opportunities that await individuals who have access to cash, and or either know how to leverage things to get access to cash. And so I understand that it depends on where you are financially with your journey, because this is a very financially mature conversation. Reason why is because there's a lot of stuff that is going on here in the news, in regards to how your personal FICO score is going to be generated, what's going to affect your score, meaning utilizations or derogatory information. And so understand that if you do not have the financial foundation to do any of the strategies that I may talk about in this video, I want to say proceed with caution. Because if you don't know what to do, how to leverage it for it to make more money for you, you can find yourself getting in a jam. And I know you may be wondering, okay, Leroy, get to the topic at hand, how to convert credit cards to cash. The reason why I wanted to say that disclaimer is because you need to know right now in this market, in the next 4 years, based on what the predictions are, and who the current president is now, based on last night's, whether you follow politics or not, it's in our face, whether you ignore it or not. If what they say is true and we get the same president that we currently have, there are going to be two types of people. There are going to be people who are going to suffer financially, and then there's going to be people who are going to prosper financially. What side of the coin are you going to be on? And so on I believe, my personal Facebook, I recently did a Facebook story where I shared a real estate uh, property that I'm looking to acquire with a partner. Did one of those Facebook stories. May do an Instagram story. I don't do much on Instagram. And so, with that being said, as long as you have something to leverage, money is not no issue. So let me get into the topic. So, how to convert credit cards to cash. Now, what I'm going to explain to you, 9 times out of 10, your guru has not told you this. Why? Because they're kind of telling you the same thing that's really in the space when it comes to business credit. Get your net 30 accounts, get some trade lines going. They have the different tiers, this, that, and the other. The list goes on and on. And I'm the type that, you know what, scrap all that. It has its place. I get it. But at the end of the day, people are trying to get to the real money, how to get access to the money. And so with that being said, I'm going to explain a strategy to you that your guru may not have told you. And that is taking the money that is currently on your credit card and converting it to cash. Now, I think about a year ago, I did a video. I did actually a video showing you with a spreadsheet in the back of me how it would work. So imagine if you had a credit card with a current limit of $15,000, and you had 4 of those cards, you do the math. That's $60,000 that you could have access to you. Imagine if you had, I think I paused for a second. Imagine if you had a $20,000 limit card and you did that you did it on 5 cards. You get access to 100,000 in cash. And it's one of, to me, the best strategies that a person who wants to leverage credit to be able to do things such as invest in real estate, put money into business, the list goes on and on. The reason why is because if it's done right and if it's done with strategy, not you just doing stuff, be very cautious of you hearing something and then trying to execute it with not knowing all the moving pieces. But imagine if you did that with an interest-free credit card, because if you have the right type of credit, that is what could be presented to you. Interest-free for possibly 9 months, 12 months, 18 months. So here you have access to this cash, and you don't have to pay interest on it until, like I said, 12 months, 18 months, 9 months, or what have you. If you are smart and you use a strategy where you know that if you were to get access to the cash, what would be the return on the investment? And I like to use it, for example, with real estate. Imagine you wanting to do a fix and flip. Getting access to that cash is cheaper than hard money. Don't have no problem with hard money. You can even use a strategy if you wanted to use hard money, because that could be your gap piece. A lot of times with hard money, and depending on your experience level, you may not get 100%. And even if you do, there's still fees that have to be paid at the closing table. There's points, origination fees, interest on the draws that you pull down for as long as you have the money. The case, the list goes on and on and on, how the money can be presented to you with hard money. So imagine with you having that hard money that's going to be used to acquire the property, but you still need some cushion in between. And that's where access to cash comes from. So I know this conversation may be a little above the heads of some individuals if you're not really at that place where you're truly leveraging, credit. Because let's call a spade a spade. For some people, they live with the Dave Ramsey's, theory on debt is bad, debt is the devil, don't do nothing with debt. And although it has a place, if you are truly trying to create any wealth accumulation for yourself, you best to believe it's not being done with your own money. Conversation that I had today with the investor that I'm working with, we talked about using other people's money. So whether that other people's money is a credit card company, whether that other people's money is someone who's loaning you the money, whether that other people's money is some type of funding source, at the end of the day, don't believe the hype. People are not accumulating what it is that you may see, whether it's on Instagram, social media, when it comes to the realm of real estate, all cash. Now, do we have those pink elephants in the room? Yeah, do we have those unicorns where you're saying, oh yeah, I purchased some real estate and I did it all cash and was all my money. I understand it exists, but at the end of the day, I know me, I wouldn't use my own disposable income for investing, because at the end of the day, you want your own disposable income to be what it's for, to be able to get access to it, whether it's to take care of your own household or what have you. So going back to what I said, so you have these 5 credit cards with $20,000 limit on it. What's the best way to get access to that cash? best way to get access to that cash is one person may say, oh, do a cash advance. That's easy, Lorelia. But then a lot of times with the cash advances, you still have to pay the interest rate on it. So that's not the great place to, it's not the best place to, to do it. So that's why I said be very cautious of you trying to put this strategy in place. I've heard this strategy being talked about online, and what some people aren't telling people is that the strategy is not done by a cash advance. Why? Because you're going to trigger that APR and you're going to pay interest on it. It's done by a balance transfer. I'll be honest with you. That your guru is not telling you. You're doing a balance transfer to be able to get access to 5 cards, $20,000. You do the math. That's $100,000 in disposable income. No interest is being paid on it. And if you're smart and you know how to, use that money to make more money for you, then you come on top. But if you're somebody, which I talk to a lot of people, they think getting the money is the hard part. So what happens is that they have no strategy. And then what happens is that they're just looking at, oh, I hope I can get some money. And then when the money comes, it's like, oh, snap. Okay, well, what is it that I can do? Hey, how you doing, Curtis? Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for joining me. So today we're talking about getting access to cash on a credit card. So that's the way it's done. It's not done by a cash advance. And like I said, it's a very, I don't really want to say a sophisticated strategy, but it's a strategy for those who know how that if I get access to $60,000, how can I make it 120? Because think about it, you got to pay it back. Now, is utilization going to be out of whack? Yeah, I mean, think about it like this. I mean, a lot of times, people want a lot of reward, but they don't want no risk. And unfortunately, this strategy, it comes with risk. There is risk. What is the biggest risk? The risk is that you get access to all that cash, because like I tell people, getting the money is not hard. The only time the money is hard for people is when a person is not really where they want to be in terms of with their credit. Yeah, I mean, well, that's what I'm saying. So it's not a cash advance. So I think a lot of times you're right, Curtis, with when people hear getting access to cash on a card, they're thinking cash advance. And I also want to say, be very cautious of what, some people may consider, bad or what have you, because for some people, they may not know how a particular strategy can help them financially. You see what I'm saying? So when one person is using a strategy and know what the end result is going to be, because at the end of the day, I always like to look at this is not nothing I made up. It is an actual formula. It's the weighted cost of capital, and I think the acronym is WACC. That is a real formula. That's a formula that's very common in corporate finance. Because unfortunately, which is true, big companies take on debt to be able to create more wealth, to be able to get access to assets. So weighted cost of capital is real, And so I always look at that. What is the cost of the money that you're trying to get access to? Many people don't look at it like that because most people are in a feast and famine state. Well, I'm just trying to get some money. I'm just trying. I just got to see what I can get. And that's not where you start. And I understand why a lot of people may feel like that. It's because we're really in a time and place where people are giving very outdated information. And so when a person tries to implement that outdated information, Uber, Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know much about, Uber's financials. I do know their business model, but I don't know their financials. But it is common. It is common. So that's why I said be very cautious of trying to, because what I see on a daily basis is that people are taking a very archaic approach. And what I mean by that, they're really listening to um yeah, exactly. You're right, Curtis. It's really outdated. But you'd be surprised. I mean, it's being pushed in droves. You still got people. I think somebody shared on Facebook, and I guess this particular person. I'm not gonna say man or female or whatever, but this particular person for 30 minutes was kind of like talking about net 30 accounts and what you need to do to position yourself. And you know like I said, it doesn't have its place, yes, but not if you're really trying to execute anything big. So really that's all I have for you today. I know I hadn't been on here in a minute, so I said, you know what, let me come here and tell you some real stuff. Because like I said, I talked to an investor today, and we were talking about how low rates are. Interest rates for real estate, a fixed rate is going between, I think I seen between 3 and 5%. Rates are low. So what's stopping people? Is it access to money or what have you? Like I said, this in the next 4 years, there's going to be two types of people. They're going to be people who are just going to be scared and don't do nothing and just waiting for the perfect scenario. And then there's going to be people who are going to see opportunity, who's going to, get access to whatever they want to get access to and be able to soar financially. So that's all I have for you today. If you want a 15-minute consultation, and you want to talk about some things, you want to kind of put, your, you know, uh, should I say, biz funding strategy together, please go to bizcredit.yourmoneymentor.com. And all the links will be below this video once it processes, along with other links about, rebuilding your credit. I get it. That's still very common for a lot of people as well. And I'll talk to you in the next video. Okay, bye-bye.